Farming trees is the fastest and most efficient way to level up your farming in old school RuneScape. It's something you can spend 5 to 10 minutes doing on a daily basis to progress your account, and it's a great way to make use of RuneScape Mobile. Tree runs involve navigating to and planting sprouted saplings into various tree patches across RuneScape. After a growth period ranging from 3 hours to 106 hours depending on the tree, you can check its health for a large amount of farming experience. Once you've gained the experience, you can then dig up the tree and plant a new one. And the idea of a tree run is to do this on a daily or bi-daily basis to continuously train your farming level. You can start planting the first type of tree in the game, which are oak trees, at level 15 farming. And a quick easy way to get to 15 is to get your 100% Hosidius House favor. Making 950 buckets of fertilizer will get you from level 1 to 12 farming in under 20 minutes. Then from there, you can use a garden pie for a +3 farming boost to be able to plant oak trees. There's a total of 24 tree patches in old school that are broken down into different categories. There's 6 regular woodcuttable tree patches, 6 fruit tree patches, 5 spirit tree patches which aren't used in farming training, and there's 3 hardwood patches, a celestrus, calqualt and crystal tree patch, and a redwood patch. Some of these patches are locked behind requirements. Any account can access 4 of the 6 regular tree patches, and for the remaining 2, one requires starting Tree Gnome Stronghold, and the other needs 65 farming for the second tier of the farming guild. 3 fruit tree patches are available to everyone. To access the others, you again need Tree Gnome Stronghold, you need to start Morning Ends Part 1, and 85 farming for the third tier of the farming guild. Hardwood patches, you need the Bone Voyage quest. The Celestrus tree patch and Redwood tree patch is in tier 3 of the farming guild. To plant calquats, there's no quest requirements, but if you want to pay the gardener to protect your patch, which I'll talk about soon, you need the Jungle Potion quest. Lastly, farming crystal trees requires the Song of the Elves quest. There are then 18 different types or species of trees that you can plant into their corresponding patches, with 5 different regular trees, 8 fruit trees, 2 hardwood trees, then calqualt, crystal, celestrus and redwood trees all have their own patch. So there's a lot of trees that you'll unlock on your journey to 99 farming, and you can view the levels for each tree by clicking on the farming menu in game. But on the screen right now, I have them all in order, so it's a bit easier to visualize. The fastest and most efficient way to 99 farming is to plant the best possible trees you can at all of the possible tree patches. Although, you're far better off considering each tree's GP per XP and planting trees that your bank can handle. For newer players, the GP per XP is how much it costs to gain 1 experience. So if a tree has a GP per XP of 10, it will cost 10 million GP to get 1 million experience. A factor that affects the GP per XP of tree farming is paying the nearby gardener for protection. Like most patches in old school, tree patches have a chance of becoming diseased. By paying a fee, which is visible in the farming skill guide, the gardener ensures that your patch survives. Alternatively, if you don't protect your patch, the chance of disease can be significantly reduced by using Ultra Compost, which does work on trees. Paying the gardener is generally more expensive than not paying, but the main reason most players will pay the gardener is for the guaranteed XP of your patch surviving. You should always use Ultra Compost if you're not paying for protection. The chance of disease varies a bit for each tree patch, but all fruit trees, for example, have a 53% chance of dying after all their growth stages, which is huge. But by adding Ultra Compost, the chance of death is only 7.7%. And magic trees, for example, have a 25% chance of dying normally, and it goes to 3.2% with Ultra Compost. The lower leveled regular trees are fairly well priced, but maples, yews and magics will cost a lot of money to plant, particularly if you pay the gardener. If you don't have a lot of money, you can go up to willow trees, then move on to fruit trees and the other tree patches for far cheaper experience. Players that are willing to spend more can continue up to magics, which greatly increases the XP you get per day because there is 6 normal tree patches. Dragon fruit trees are also very expensive, and it's a lot cheaper to stop at papaya or palm trees in terms of fruit trees. To see the current GP per XP with and without protection, you can use the GP XP calculator linked in the description below. The growth time of a tree is what determines when you should plant it. Regular wood-cuttable trees have a growth time ranging from 3 to 8 hours, allowing you to do 2 runs per day, so one when you wake up and one before you go to sleep. Every fruit tree grows in 16 hours. Hardwood and redwood trees have a far longer wait time, and the rest can be done daily. Here are some examples of some farm runs that you might do. A player chasing the fastest possible XP might wake up in the morning and tend to their normal tree patches. That night, they do every possible tree patch they can, always doing the trees that can be done daily and tending to the longer growth time patches when they're complete. It's good if you can remember the growth time, like every 4 days you can check your mahogany trees. But it is easier to track the growth stage on the Runelight farming plugin or with the Geomancy spell on the Lunar spellbook. Some players with less time online might just do one full run each day and ignoring the morning tree patches. A player that wants to spend less money on farming might only do the cheaper trees, which is all of the trees except for normal trees. This means you can do 1 run per day, and again you'll need to track the growth of the longer growth time patches. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do 3 types of runs. A normal tree only run that you can do daily, as well as the complete run. I'll be showing a fruit tree and special tree run, which is the cheaper run, and of course the complete run. The process of a tree run involves using farming tools, teleports for travel, sprouted saplings, coins, and gardener payment items. You'll need a rake if it's the first time at a patch, and you'll also need a spade always on your tree run. In terms of the teleports to get to each patch, I'll talk about those as I do the runs. Tree saplings are made from an empty plant pot, a tree seed, and a trowel. It then needs to be watered, and after 5 minutes, it grows into a sapling. You can buy saplings themselves off the Grand Exchange, which is recommended to save time, but it can cost a little bit more money. You should stock up on tree saplings in your bank so that each day you don't need to buy more, and the quantity that you keep in your bank really depends on how much spare cash you have. You'll need to take coins on your farm run to pay the gardener to chop down your tree. You can chop down your own trees and clear them yourself, but paying the gardener 200 coins is a lot quicker. The payment items that I spoke about earlier, you can bring these in noted form on your farm run, and as I mentioned, the items differ for each type of tree. You'll also want to bring along an axe if you're doing Celestus trees. And lastly, if you want to be a true boss while you're doing a farm run, you can get a giant farming gaming mousepad off my merch store on merch.theoatrix.net. So after traveling to a tree patch, what you do is check the health of the tree, harvest it if it has some produce, then you can right click and pay the gardener to instantly chop it down. Then you use a sapling on its tree patch and right click, pay the gardener your protection items, or if you're not paying for protection, use ultra compost on the patch. So that's the process at one patch, and then that repeats at every single patch. Okay, so now for the actual runs. I'm going to start with showing a full run of trees only, and this is the first type of tree run you'll do and can be done at 15 farming with oak trees. So the idea here is you can watch me do one full run, and I'll explain the best teleport options to get to each patch. And then after you've sorted your teleports, you can then follow my run in game. If you haven't unlocked one of the patches that I'm showing, then you can skip it and move on to the next patch. So you start off in Varrock and make your way to the east of the castle to the first tree patch. The only way here really is with a Varrock teleport. The next patch is in Tree Gnome Stronghold. The fastest way is using a Slayer Ring teleport to the Stronghold Slayer Cave, which is right next to the tree patch. Alternatively, you can run to the Spirit Tree at the Grand Exchange and travel to the Stronghold from there. Players without Slayer Rings or Spirit Trees can use a Necklace of Passage to Dural's Outpost, and then you run north to the tree patch. The next patch is in Tavali, and the best way here is to use a redirected house teleport tablet, which you can make with a scroll of redirection from the Nightmare Zone reward shop. Alternatively, a dueling ring to Castle Wars and then using the balloon transport system is another very fast way here. Low-leveled players can just use a Falador teleport and walk from Falador. The next patch is in Falador in the Falador Park, and to instantly get here, you can use a charged Ring of Wealth to teleport straight next to the patch. Instead, you can just use a regular Falador teleport again. With this patch, having the Elite Falador Diary complete will automatically protect your patch for free. So this can save so much money on paying for protection, especially for those high-level normal trees. The next normal tree patch is in Lumbridge, and the fastest and pretty much only way here is using a Lumbridge teleport. The second tier of the farming guild has the last normal tree patch. The best way here is using a skills necklace to the farming guild, or the CIR fairy ring and running southwest also works. Alright, so moving on to the fruit only run, and in this run I'm also including the other patches except for normal trees, since all of them are relatively cheap. This run is great to spend only a little bit of money and get a lot of farming XP. Again, I'll be showing the teleports as I go, so you can watch this once, decide what teleports you need to use, and then you can do the run at the same time as me. I start my fruit tree runs by going to the spirit tree in the northeastern part of the Grand Exchange and teleporting to Tree Gnome Stronghold. Alternatively, you can use a Slayer ring again, but this time, since we're not doing normal patches, you'll need to run a little bit northeast. With fruit tree patches, it is recommended to pick the produce since you get a small amount of farming XP and it will cover the cost of some of your trees. You can use the produce on the tool leprechaun nearby and he'll always note them for you. The next fruit patch is at Tree Gnome Village. You can use the spirit tree right next to you and go to Tree Gnome Village, then go out the gate and follow Elkoi. Out here is a fruit tree patch that's a little tricky to get to if you don't have spirit trees. The other easy way here is to use a dueling ring to castle wars and run along the river. The next patch is in Catherby, and the fastest way here is using a teleport to Catherby on the Lunar Spellbook, which you can also store inside your player-owned house. You can also teleport to Camelot and run southeast, although that is a bit of a longer walk. From here, you can run to the docks and take the charter ship to Brimhaven, but the fastest way to the Brimhaven fruit patch is using the Spirit Tree, or a redirected house tablet to Brimhaven. There are some level 44 spiders in this area, so if you're a low level, you may want to skip this patch. Further south on Karumja is the Kalquat patch near Taibo One-Eye Village, and from this Brimhaven patch, you can run south all the way to the Kalquat, although you can also use a Taibo One-Eye teleport scroll, which teleports you really close by, but is far more expensive and pretty much ruins the GP per XP of Kalquats. Next is the fruit tree patch in Leletia, and pretty much the only way here is using the teleport crystal. You get the teleport crystal after starting the Morning Ends Part 1 quest, and you'll need to keep an eye on its charges since you have to recharge it at Elund, which is nearby. Getting here without the teleport crystal is a very big pain, so make sure you always recharge it. So next is the Farming Guild patches, and again the best way here is using a skills necklace or the CIR fairy ring. In the third wing of the Farming Guild, there's 3 cheap patches you need to tend to: the Celestrus, Fruit Tree patch, and the Redwood patch. Next, you can use your teleport crystal again and go to Priv Dinis, and from the teleport spot, you need to run north and slightly east. Crystal tree patches cannot become diseased, so you won't need to pay the gardener here, but you should always be using Ultra Compost to ensure you get the most amount of crystal shards each time. The final patch to tend to is the hardwood trees, and the fastest way here is using a dig site pendant to the dig site, and then quick traveling on the barge and running slightly north to the patches. Here there are 3 hardwood patches, and there are corresponding squirrels that will protect your patch. Since hardwood trees have a very long growth time and a lot of tree stages, I recommend always protecting your hardwood patches. Alright, so the last full run I'm showing you is a complete run with every single tree patch possible. This run takes a fairly long time to do, but is well worth the farming XP. The route is also slightly different to both of the other ones, since you can combine the 2 runs and more efficiently go to nearby patches. You start off again in Varrock, and the only way here is using a Varrock teleport. After tending to the castle tree patch, you then make your way to Tree Gnome Stronghold again, which is either with a Slayer ring, the Spirit Tree, or the Necklace of Passage to Dural's Outpost and run north. Here you can tend to the Fruit Tree patch and then the Tree patch, and then run back to the Spirit Tree and you can go to Tree Gnome Village. Here you follow Elkoi and tend to the Fruit Tree patch outside of the maze. Again, the other way here is with a dueling ring and then running along the river. Next, you can teleport to Lumbridge and tend to the tree patch behind the castle. Then you can use a Ring of Wealth to Falador Park or a teleport to Falador to tend to the tree patch in the park. You can then use a Catherby teleport or a Camelot teleport to the Catherby Fruit Tree patch. From here, you can run to the boat and charter to Brimhaven, or you can use a spirit tree or redirected house teleport tablet to Brimhaven. You can run directly south all the way to Tyboi One-Eye Village, or use a Tyboi One-Eye teleport scroll to tend to the Kalquat patch. The Tavali patch can be accessed with a redirected house tablet or balloon transport again. Some players may choose to do the Tavali patch right after the Catherby patch, since you can use a mithril grapple to go past White Wolf Mountain and really close to the tree patch. You can then use your teleport crystal to Leletia and run southeast to the fruit tree patch, then a skills necklace or CIR fairy ring to the farming guild, where you can tend to the tree patch in the second tier, and then the fruit patch, Celestrus and redwood patch in the third tier. You can then use the teleport crystal to Prif Dinis and run northeast to the crystal tree patch, and then lastly using the dig site pendant to the dig site and travel with the barge to get to the 3 hardwood patches. So there you have it, that's my ultimate tree farming guide. Down in the description are all of the timestamps to each section of this guide. And if you'd also like to get into herb farm runs, you can check out my herb farming guide, which I'll link below as well. Thanks for watching and good luck tree farming.